Greetings, true believers, Gel Pal, Spider-Man. Good morning, Cadre. I've done a couple shaves that I didn't put on video, so I wanted to at least show you the razors that I used for Open Comb October. 2 days ago, I used the Gillette Single Ring, and then yesterday I used the Gillette 7 o'clock, which is a British new. It's the raised flat bottom version. Both of these were fairly aggressive. The single ring seemed to want to stick to my face, like almost like it was sucking to my face and sticking to it. And the new was just a pretty aggressive version of it. So neither of these are really favorites of mine. I just pick them up and use them every now and then. So taking the blade out of the 7 o'clock from yesterday, and we'll just set it up here for a future shave because the blade's still good. It's had 26 shaves on it, so we can use it while longer, but we're not going to use a DE today. So I've got a different blade. We're going to be using the GEM Micromatic Open Comb. This is the gold version. I've also got a silver version of it. Usually when I go to grab a Micromatic, I will pick up the silver one, so I haven't used the gold one in a while. So I wanted to pick up this one for today's shave. Now, there is a difference between the two, not because of the silver and the gold, but this one has, if you look inside, there's 2 dots right there, and those kind of lift part of the blade up. This one does not have those dots. You can find them. It's not like the gold one doesn't and the silver one does. You can find them both with both variations of it. So I don't even know if I remember what the no dot version is like. I think it might be a little bit more aggressive. I think the dots kind of raise the blade up and make it a slightly less aggressive, but I'm not exactly sure on that. Today I'm having a Halloween party, and so I decided to grab my Paladin Jack for today's shave. So that's what I'm going to be doing most of the day today, is getting ready for my party, cleaning up the house a bit, putting out some more decorations. I've been working on decorations for a few days. Some of the stuff I've had up for a couple weeks, but putting some of the final touches on it. And my costume is going to be a jack-o'-lantern, so since I got the mohawk, I'm going to color the mohawk green to be the stem of the jack-o'-lantern. I'm going to paint the sides of my head orange, and then I got a jack-o'-lantern t-shirt that I'll wear and an orange mask. So, should be a good time. Looking forward to it. Got lots of food to get ready. Cutting up and cooking and stuff and getting ready for everybody. Got lots of beer. It's going to be a good time. Got in some samples from Chris yesterday, CB Lindsay. Some new soaps that he's got. Some formulas that he's working on. So, I know I've committed to using the Hallow soap up until the end of the month, so probably tomorrow I'll go through all the scents and kind of just lather up a little bit of each one of them so I can get a better idea of what they smell like as you shave with them, and so I can get some feedback to him in a timely manner. Definitely looking forward to trying some of the new scents he's got going on. A lot of people think the Micromatics are too aggressive. Or just that they are very aggressive. I don't know, to me, I'm not a fan of aggressive razors. But to me, this one doesn't seem that aggressive. It definitely has blade feel, and there's a decent blade gap, but I don't know if it's the because the blades themselves, the gem blades being different from a DE blade, this doesn't feel as aggressive as some of the aggressive DE razors. And I know a lot of people think that the Micromatic is one of the most aggressive gem razors. And Micromatic was actually my first gem. And I've never really found it aggressive. I find the 1912 variants to be a bit more aggressive than the Micromatic, which is backwards from what a lot of people think. I don't know, I always seem to get good shaves from the Micromatic. So this party tonight is about all I'm doing for Halloween. Halloween's on a Wednesday this year, and I've got bingo at the VFW on Wednesdays. But I live out in the country, so I'm not going to have any trick-or-treaters anyways. But even when I lived in the city, well, I was actually just outside of the city limits right before I moved to this house. I had an apartment, and I lived at the edge of a subdivision, but we had a separate road to get in, and our road was a T, so you came in off the main road and it was a dead end on both directions, so you couldn't access the rest of the complex from our road. So even though we lived next to a huge subdivision, they got lots of trick-or-treaters. Very few of them would make it over to our areas. So I would always, well, when I first moved in, I figured I'd have a ton of trick-or-treaters, so I bought a bunch of candy and set up some displays and stuff, and I think I had like 5 kids. Maybe it's more than that, but it definitely wasn't as many as I was expecting. And so yeah, for the next few years that I lived in that apartment, I usually had no more than 20 trick-or-treaters on any year. Oh no, there's no way I'll get any out here. I can't even see. Like if I walk all the way around my entire property and look every single angle, I can probably see 3 houses. there's only one house that I can see from my house. And I have to go to the edge of my properties to even look down the road enough to see the other houses, so. Which I like the quiet. It's nice not having any neighbors. Sure, you can hear this blade. It's got lots of audible feedback as you're cutting the whiskers. I don't know, sometimes the sounds come through even heavier on the video than they do to my ear, so I imagine that might be a little loud on the video. Yeah, that residual slickness just really isn't there on this Bear Stern, man. Trying to do these little touch-ups after I've shaved past an area, just not great. But that'll work. So a few days left for October for open comb. I've got a couple things upcoming that I know of. I gotta go through my display case and see if there's any other razors that I'm forgetting about. I'm sure I've got more than enough to use every day. I've probably got some obscure razors I need to pull out and give those a try. Go with the Hallows aftershave again. A little bit of sting. But not any real burning, so I think the shave was pretty good. As you can see, I'm starting to make a dent in the Hallows aftershave. Using it every day, but I've got a couple backups, so once it's gone, it's not really gone. And the EDT, stuff smells pretty good. It's really strong, but it doesn't really have the longevity that I would hope for. But also, as strong as it is when you first apply it, it's way too strong to wear that all throughout the day. So I guess it's good that it dies down. I think it just dies down a little bit too much. But I guess if you have to, you just reapply. So yeah, we talked about brushes in some other people's videos, and Chris was talking about some of your habits and what you do, and Dave was saying that he picked up the habit of swirling his brush on a towel or something to dry them. I always shake my brushes, so once I get it rinsed out, I'll squeeze it to squeeze out any of the excess water, and then whatever's left in the brush, I just give it a couple shakes, and to me that gets the brush shaped the best for when it dries. So it puffs it out, it makes all the fibers go where they naturally want to go, and gets the majority of any excess water out. So if you're going to shake your brush, you just got to make sure you have a good hand hold on it before you do so. And I just really just give it a couple of wrist flicks. It's not really anything too extreme. I know some people have said that they've done that and then their knots have flown out, which if it's going to fly out from doing that, it's going to fall out eventually anyway. So I don't think that shaking the brush is what did it. So that's just my technique and something that I do, probably a little bit different from a lot of people. I know a lot of people kind of get warned against shaking their brushes, but that's the way I've always dried my brushes. So there's my little tidbit of information for today. So check us out, www.shavingkydra.com. I'm Spider, and we'll see you guys on the forums. Bye.